Okay guys, here we are in a Vintage Daily event and we're in round 2 and we're playing Pranayama. And we've won the die roll, so we're going to go first. And we know this opponent is playing Mud last time we played him. I don't know if it was yesterday or 2 days ago we played him, but regardless, that's what he was on. So this is a pretty good hand. I'm a little nervous about playing a workshop out into a wasteland, but however, I think we have to do it, especially in light of the fact we have a turn 1 lodestone golem. So we're not going to mulligan. And of course against Mud, a turn 1 lodestone golem is no guaranteed victory by any means, where against a fair blue base deck it's a much stronger play. I also know Pranayama from Classic. He or she played Oath in several tournaments in daily events and was quite successful with it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him or her switch to Oath. So let's see. They're sticking with the workshops or they're going all in here. So with the Oath. But regardless, against Oath or shops, I think that this is a pretty good hand. And I think it's better against Oath, particularly because we have the tangle wires. So that's, of course, presuming that my lodestone golem gets through. My opponent did mulligan to 6, which is good news. You see, being on the play in this situation is quite powerful, because if my opponent wastelands my workshop, yes, it's a bummer. There's no doubt about that. But they are sitting back and they're not able to do anything. And if they don't kill my workshop, then I am that much closer to be able to casting a worm coil, or I can cast a tangle wire to lock my opponent down. Okay, so this is fine. Unfortunately, I cannot actually wasteland my opponent here, which is a little unfortuitous, but so we are playing a blue base deck. This was a pretty good start for us. Now the question is do we just want to tangle wire here while we can and tap him down, and then next turn play out a lodestone golem? I think that is the correct play, is to actually tangle wire him here. We can't actually, unfortunately, we can't actually do that though. Let's get the actual worm coil down. The worm coil is just really tough to deal with. He can't force a will it right now, and next turn we can just lock it down. And should he play a duel, that's almost assuredly going to cost him. I would think this would be very hard for my opponent to handle, unless he's got a white source. At which point he could actually Swords to Plowshare. I was just talking to one of my clanmates about winning the die roll, and in Vintage, and of course in any format winning the die roll is very important, but in Vintage in particular it just can be really broken. I mean, facing a turn 1 lodestone golem is not an easy task for any deck to face. So excuse me. Glad I won the die roll. So my opponent was thinking long and hard here what he wanted to do. Okay, so we've got game 1. I have no idea what he's playing, whether it's a Tezzeret-based deck or what. Which is probably smart, because I don't foresee him being able to win that particular game there, and we really don't know how to sideboard against him. You know, is it Oath of Druids that we're playing? I really am not sure. We just really saw Voltaic Key and Nylon. So it could be Tezzerator. It could actually be an Oath of Druids deck. I'm really not sure. Regardless, there's not much I can do here. I really can't side-in cages and duplicates and that sort of thing. Witchbane orbs for Oath when I don't know that it's Oath. My deck has reasonable game against both Oath and Tesserator as it is. So I think I'm just going to keep things as is here. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a reasonable hand. Okay. So, very happy to see that. Let's see here. I really want to be able to cast a sphere here. Let's get a Mox out. And I think we're just going to cast a Sphere of Resistance. Hopefully that doesn't get Spell Pierced or Force of Will, but there's definitely a possibility that could happen. Yeah. But it cost him a Tesserator. Now, oh, Oath of Druids, interesting. Okay. So we are under the gun here really bad. Probably just going to die to an Oath here if that's what he's got. Yeah. No. That's not terrible for us, you know. If he doesn't have an Oath here. Okay. Well, I don't think we can fool around here. I'm going to have to Thorn him here and Wasteland, trying to keep him off from being able to cast anything. The question is, do we want to give him a colored source? I think the Orchard here is actually an avenue to victory for us. I mean, he's got the tokens down already. If he can cast an Oath, he can cast an Oath. The only thing is that it does give him Artifact Destruction. I'm going to take the green source here against my better judgment. I'm not sure if that's correct. I think there's an argument for both because him having to tap that is and giving us tokens is really good. So let's hope this resolves. This is key. Otherwise he can cast a Voltaic Key here, which will kill us. And let's just hope he doesn't have Voltaic here, because if he does, we're in trouble. Okay. Well, the good news is here is we can set a Chalice. At 1, shutting off Voltaic Key. And now I wish I had left him the Forbidden Orchard. There's no doubt about that, but you know, I can cast a Forgemaster here, but I'm just not going to bother doing that. That leaves me with 4 mana, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can't do anything with 4 mana. But next turn I'm going to try and slam a Staff and Nin. And hopefully, yeah, so he's digging. Staff and Nin would be really good for us here. If we can land that, almost assuredly we would win the match, but no guarantees. No land? Wow. That's huge for us. Okay. No force of will. I mean, it's arguable whether we should have just slammed the Forgemaster there, but anyways, we're doing okay here. We're going to draw a bunch. Hopefully he does not have mana. You know, I don't want to cast into a mana drain here is my issue. Wow, Sundering Titan. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. And I can stop him from casting a mana drain here if this goes through. Because if he mana drains this, then that means we are going to get a Sundering Titan in no matter what. And if he doesn't mana drain it, then we're still getting a Sundering Titan in, unless he has Force of Will. Force of Will stop me. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's a bit high risk doing it, but I do think we have to do it. Right? He only can have a Force of Will here to get me. He cannot mana drain me here. And I'm worried about him ramping into a Jace or a Tezzeret here because I have no threats on the table. But if this goes through, yeah, okay. So that's game. Sundering Titan just is devastating there.